In the rhythm of the earth, I feel like ancient spirits dancing, guiding the night. With every wave of the river, I hear your song. You whisper through the trees where we all belong. You're the echo of the ages, a sacred call. You're the return of the ancient ones. It's true, the melody of life, it's all in you. Our love may manifest through and through. Together we rise in every shade and hue, flowing like the water, nurturing the ground. In the cradle of creation, our hearts are found. You're the mother of dreams, the stars up above. With every breath I take, I feel your love. Go forth, my soul, in peace and harmony. You're the return of the ancient ones. It's true, the melody of life, it's all in you. We are love made manifest through and through. Together we rise in every shade and hue. Embrace the love, let the music flow. In the heart of the world, let your spirit flow.
Well, say you will, give me one more chance. At least give me time to change your mind. Always seems to heal the wounds. If I could just get you to dance. And coming to you, brothers and sisters, this night, November 3rd, post-ritual, 3:45 a.m. We are coming to you from St. Lucifer, Miss Urea. And we're just saying, say you will, give me one more chance. At least give me time to change your mind. It always seems to heal the wounds. If I could get you to dance. Believe me, I don't think that I sing good. It's kind of a parody. But we are coming to you on behalf of my mama, Maria Orsic, Ms. Maria herself, goddess, wife of Mississippi, the beautiful ones, the golden ones, the Austrian ones, the Danube ones. She is, Maria is the Western Hemisphere Danube River. Because her goddess is the goddess Donna, Diana, wife of the beautiful Shiva Parvati, Shiva Parvati. We love you. We send out some love rays to our sister Donna, our queen Donna, our beautiful dancer Donna. We love you so much, Donna. And brothers and sisters, remember, recover, return. And I'm just reminded of the second ritual I did ever, in how the Missouri River goddess, who I would find out is Maria, she said to me, "My son, I'm going to bring you to my God. I'm going to bring you to Odin." And I want you guys and gals to get how creative Lou. Alleluia Lucifer is. This is like his art. Living it. Creating it in real life. Right? Like this whole setup of her coming to me outside of my body and saying to me like, hey, listen, we're not fucking around. She did kind of say it like that too. And she said, I'm going to bring you right to my God, and you can ask him anything you want to know in the whole ever about yourself, anything, the stars, the moon, the sun, the trees, the mushroom. And it was weird. It was like almost like a dark room that we were in all of a sudden. And she took my hand and walked me like in a dimly lit room. And we turned the corner, and this man in a more brighter room, more well-lit room, was standing there looking just like Obi-Wan Kenobi. But the hood, his like monk hood, was like all the way down to his nose. So all I could see was his like black and a little bit of gray beard. And he was holding like a wooden like walking stick. And as soon as I looked at him, it was like we were telepathically communicating. Matter of fact, it didn't seem like I walked to him. It just seemed like I was just there in front of him, like instantly. And he said to me, and why I'm retelling this story is for you to get the creativity of the artist Lucifer, Shiva. And I had seen Maria, the first ritual, and she said, ask me anything you want to know. I said, who am I? Seen her the second ritual. She said, ask me anything you want to know. And it was almost like she put her finger up, like, I know what you're going to say. Who am I? She said, and that's when she said, I'm going to take you to my God. And all of a sudden, and he was smiling. He was smiling, like, now I know, like, because he knows me in real life. And it made me feel very comfortable that he was smiling. He was just absolutely peaceful. Not, there was no intimidation whatsoever. And I'm saying to you, this is the God of this world, who's a man, like a wise, powerful, creative man. No man can be all powerful, all knowing. God is a setup. You're that over yourself. That's the only thing that makes sense. As far as that word goes, outside of that word, you're all powerful over yourself. You're all knowing about yourself. You've always been with yourself. You created your own soul. Your essence created your soul. Other people might say spirit. So we'll say it like this way. God did not create your spirit. Your spirit always existed. It's energy. It created your soul. And how did it do that? By becoming physical. And there are people without souls that are spirits. Got it? They don't want to be physical. They don't want to have a mind. They just like living in imagination. Imagination created your mind. Imagination created your mind. In heaven, you were essence, energy, pure imagination. You got some kind of plan, some woman or some man or something you were seeking. And you understood the whole process because you've always been here. And you were like, yeah, it's time for me to create my soul, which is my body, Well, I mean, not my body, but my mind that will go in my body. My thinking, waking self. An avatar of the essence we are calling soul at this point. You could say the true self created its own mind for the physical world. Because in nirvana heaven, you don't need to think. You imagine constantly. And this man was about as tall as me, and I in my mind, I don't believe that we were speaking with our mouths. I was just completely out of my body. It was like dreaming. I didn't know. I'm just going with it. I'm just living completely in the moment, and I'm in some house with Maria, I didn't know, with the Missouri River goddess, whose name I was soon to find out, her Venusian magic name, her initiation name. And just real quick, if people want to know, how she has told me to discern or, understand, test whether someone's really speaking. Like she said, I can just say it to your mouth, say it to your face. But at the same time, she said, you're going to start meeting a lot of people out in the world, and you're not going to have the time. So literally, in 2011, she set up a sort of test. And the test is, what is her magic name? What is her magic name? And I will give you a clue, if we are face to face, to see if you know. If you know her magic name, you know her. You're not just dreaming about her or thinking about her. You're now face to face. And like she said, what is it to be? What's it about to be face to face? It's to be face to face, to tell your story, your true story. Like she said, with the women here in America, they're going to have to do away with that filter that filters between their thoughts and their words. She said, for you and I to be face to face in a dream on the astral plane, you're going to have to lose the brainwashing, the mind control. You cannot be trusted. Not because you're evil, but because you could be, you're in the middle of being deceived. Like you have to come all the way out of the deception. Like she said about my song, I have a song that says, around, turn around, all the way around. That's what she's saying. You have to turn all the way around. And she's like, if you will come and you will understand the river, and the magic flow of the river is vril. It's the vril energy, right? It causes orgasm in all people, everywhere, good, evil, and in between. Because it's the processing of the sun in the sky, which is completely beyond our words, indescribable, really, if you're honest. And it releases into the ocean of collective energy, right? But if you're magic and you're disciplined and you have listened to your teacher, you can call back that energy to where you want it to go, or even to yourself. This is what it means to really retain. See, it doesn't mean not to have an orgasm. It means for the energy of the release of the orgasm to be used for yourself. Used for your own body, your own mind. That's what it means. like Maria said, let me say it plain and simple to Americans so they understand. At the heart of your enjoyment should be sex. And you should be proud of it that you spend your time that way, because that's the true spreading of energy-wise. It's the true peace, love, and light into the collective, is when you have found your balance with pleasure, with pleasing her. And the her can be the he, she, or the she, he. And what we mean by that is the eternal true love. The face of their soul is now the face of their amour. And the energy is being truly recycled, right? Like she said, what is it? The heart of misery, Joseph, waste. Let me tell you, you can decide right now that everything's been a waste of time, or everything has led to something, somewhere, sometime, somehow. Are you willing? Is it all meaningless? And by saying that, we're trying to say, is it all superficial, surface, meaningless? Or are you yourself going to take action and give it a meaning? And so, standing there before Obey the One and Know Me, whom I should say Maria called Odin. I think every time she ever spoke of him, she would say Odin. And I was embarrassed, but I didn't know. I'm as dumb as anyone else. And at one point I said to her, like, she set me up. She totally set me up for this. I said, is he the Odin? And she, of course, she laughed. And she said, Joe, the stories are coming true in us. The stories aren't true. They're stories. They're based on true things, probably. Who knows the author's intent? She's like, who wrote the Nordic myths? She's like, you know as well as I do that, Joe, they're like 4,000 or 5,000 years old before the Christians got a hold of them. And she said, how much do we trust Christians? And I said, as much as they cut fucking babies out of our women and drowned our fucking children. And I just have to say, like, I've been around Maria since 2011. And, I mean, I know people are used to it in America. There's a goddamn church, a Christian church on every fucking corner. There's fucking probably 500,000 churches in America. But I'm telling you, and we're not going to quit saying it, you should be ashamed of carrying that Bible. You should be ashamed of walking in that church for the simple fact that these people in history, and you might say, well, they were Catholic. Your fucking Protestant, Calvinist, Lutheran motherfuckers did the same thing. And if your God can't control the fucking rabid dogs that worship him, then fuck you and your fucking God. And on behalf of our ancestors, I'm Irish, Italian, Dutch, and German. on behalf of our ancestors, fuck you. Like that's where we draw the line. I'll be nice to you. We can be, friendly. But this Jesus, the Jew, died on the cross for me. It makes me want to throw up. And it's crazy because anyone who's similar to me could really think that I'm picking on them or talking directly to them. Especially my sister Sita. Like, I see myself, like when I am criticizing myself, and sometimes, and I've seen this in my ritual, like how me and her are so similar, that, I was telling her telepathically, like, I'm never talking, I would never criticize you. Even if I thought I should, I probably never would. But I am literally seeing myself, and I'm angry because look, and I'm saying this on behalf of all Christians right now. I was trying. It's a deep, heavy, hardcore magic spell, and we've been fighting without giving up for a long time against this. And it's just a reality that the structure of American society is so sophisticated that as soon as you decide you're not happy, like I said, as soon as you decide you're empty, something's missing, there's a church on every corner to come and tell you that's because you're evil. You're as bad as a rapist or a murderer. Just think how fucking ridiculous that is. Just think about a God that would forgive a rapist, murderer, and would throw a person who it doesn't make sense to them in a burning lake of fire, but let this rapist, murderer, and literally, it's very possible the rapist, murderer, victim could be thrown in hell, according to this insanity. So I don't want anyone, anywhere, especially Sita, to think that I'm, trying to correct you. Like, in real life, I have sympathy for anyone that's under this spell. It really is magic. And anyone that's like on a similar truth-seeking path, like I'm yelling, it could seem like I'm yelling directly at that person when I'm actually yelling directly at myself in the past. And for this very fact that in 1993, I bought the book Behold a Pale Horse, and it talked about the protocols of Zion. It talked about the Grand Conspiracy. It talked about how it was in the secret societies that were in the universities, controlling the American government, building the American military as this Bible, end times beast monster. America military is the military of Thelema. The United States military is the United States military of Thelema. It's all based on those principles, and they funded it, they built it, and they own it. And you're not to trust anyone, no matter what, that's been in the United States military, period. In this reality, this is not where we're to go to get information. Where you to go, class? Of course, the real world is only within you. And like Maria says, in that real world, only amor is real. Everything else is an illusion to us. That's our fucking free will choice. Right? So back to Obi-Wan. Obey the one. So telepathically, he said to me, why? And I was looking, the only thing I could really look at was his mouth. And he said telepathically to me, Joe, ask me anything you want to know. And I, like a child, this is truly beyond thought. I don't know how many people have, really been on I hate to say on the astral plane, as if you're stepping on something real. This is it's very much like dreaming. It's like you have to relax on the mushrooms. First of all, you have to have a high enough dose of mushrooms or ayahuasca or whatever plant you're using. You cannot restrict the dose. Like Maria said to me, moderation in shamanism is complete failure. You have to be all in on the supernatural or not. So I would advise, if you aren't in, contact with, I wouldn't think you would, but so if I was doing this for by myself for the first time, I would first of all listen to me who's done it hundreds of times, and start slow. I'd say start with a half of a gram of magic mushrooms, and you can kind of apply that. Absolutely never synthetic nothing ever. Period, in your whole life. Don't even, try not to even take, Tylenol, ibuprofen, shit like that. Get some white willow bark or whatever it is. Get some kratom. Kratom's good for headaches. Drink a lot of water if you're having headaches. Good water. Get some minerals. Trace minerals in that water. But anyway, back to him, right? All I could see is his mouth, and he was smiling when he said, Joe, ask me anything you want to know. And like I said, like a child, I was like, anything. And as the thought came to me that I was saying anything, my telepathic mouth, my mind was like going two directions at the same time. I said anything, but in the end of it was also, who am I? Of course. And I'm just staring at his mouth. And I'm trying to pay attention. I'm trying to fucking get what's going on, because I'm also conscious as the observer, And trying to, and check this out. I had no idea at this time what any of this was. If it was real, if there was this other plane of existence. All I knew was I was not creating with my imagination or my trip or whatever what was happening. It was happening to me. I wasn't making it happen whatsoever. Like I said, I would absolutely, totally forget that I was in my bed, laying down, doing mushrooms. Because one reason why I could do that is because Maria was there with me and just dancing, but with her mind just over and over saying to me, like, relax. Everything's okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Just relax. Just totally, Joe, release, rest, and relax. Just go to sleep, little child. And when you take 5 grams of good mushrooms, the last thing on the earth you're going to do is go to sleep. But there is a place where you can really relax and just watch what's happening. You know, watch your true self just walk out of your body into your astral self, and you're like, holy shit, I'm laying in the bed and there's a complete other physical me just totally running around doing shit. You know, saying funny shit, saying crazy shit, looking dumb sometimes. You know, I didn't know what the fuck what this was. Like, I think some of the people closest around me were thinking, like, because my best friend had died 14 months previous, you know, that this was like, I guess some like psychosis of mine, you know. Like, he's gone crazy, he thinks he's talking to dead people and shit. But there was other people that, you know, kind of been with me on this spiritual journey, and they were like, that's interesting. I believe that. I believe that people are still alive that died on some other plane of existence. Makes sense to me. I'm like, dude, it was so real, I was grabbing his face. And he was laughing. Right? And what did my best friend since first grade say to me? Joe, ask me anything you want to know. And I should just review right now. You know what he told me? I couldn't get anything out of my mouth, you know, except like, how is it there? And he's like, you're gonna love it here. You're going to love it here. And he said to me, you know why? They have plenty of marijuana. And he said, you're also going to love it here because they have plenty of mushrooms. And this was the first time I ever did 5 grams of mushrooms. On purpose. So it was kind of funny because I wasn't, you know, I didn't have a lifelong shaman life. I've been doing... you know, trying magic mushrooms for about 4 months, at lower doses, much lower doses. And I'm marveling, like, that's great. They have herb and they have mushrooms. Yay. You know, I'm thinking, this all makes sense. Like, why I did the 5 grams tonight. And the final thing he said, you know what else you're going to like about it here? I'm sorry if this sounds crude, but it's true. I mean, this is at the center of our lives, but this is how he said it. He is like, we fuck here. He said, yep, that's right. There is lots of sex going on where I'm at. And I was marveling because I never met anyone face to face who had died. I'm like, really? Whoa. It's kind of Venusian of me because we come from a place without genitals. So, you know, it's kind of like I was reverting back to the true self. I'm like, wow, because back on Venus we have to enter simulation. So you're saying we just fuck there? And he's like, yeah. all the time. And like Maria's saying right now, see, if energy is going to be at the center and you want good or bad, you're not lukewarm, you're going to figure out one way or another that there is nothing, not even close in comparison to the explosive energy that on its, like she said, if there was any personification of the actual sun in the sky, it's that the sun, like she said, however you're having sex with someone or by yourself. This is exactly how she explained to me what vril was. She said, no matter if you're having sex with someone else or yourself, you build an energy. She said it may happen fast, it may happen in 1 minute. It may build for a while. It could build for a while. Hour. And she said, but if you are a keen, wise observer, you will see that there's like a level of pleasure energy that sort of levels out. And she said back home we concentrate on dwelling. It's like a in-body energy. But it's very, very, very pleasurable. It's very good. And it's very, very good because you know this is the last stage of building that you needed to do on your own. You've been building. This is the top level. And now you need something else to carry you. Like Maria said, it's okay to talk like your people. Like you need something mental, energy, some connection, something to get you off, to set off. But like she said, what's interesting is when you set off the last stage, something else takes over. Like Maria said, this is like the undescribable. This is why we say the sun in the sky is completely beyond all description and words, even though you think you can. Because it's this energy that comes from the sun that, like she said, picks you up and turns the corner, and the causes the effect of the thoughts, I am going to come. And like she said, it's no better word is there than come, because it is coming to existence. It's coming to go forth. It's coming forward out of the collective, out of the masses. This is actually where your essence mixes with the sun of the thing that is beyond all words, description. This is how we know that thing is, man, the sun in the sky is fucking magic. It's causing the whole world to enjoy sex. Something free. Something that they've had to struggle to make money off of. And it's something they have concentrated lots of magic on, brainwashing women, so that they use it as their survival tool of food, clothes, and shelter for my children. It's got to come with that. And like Maria said, that's not eternal true love, and it never will be. It cannot be. It's the wrong energy. No matter what it looks like to you in nature, animals don't have eternal true loves. And like she said, that is what love actually conquers. And she said, isn't that me, Joseph? I said, yeah, you're the most magic fucking person. I said, I can see you and Sig in that house in Germany when you had no jobs. You had no students, and you basically were told, do magic and help Germany and report to us what your God is saying. That's all we want from you. We'll pay for everything. She said, and I didn't like that, did I? I said, no, you didn't. She said, but I was willing to do it. She said, and I threw the notebook at him and said, take your fucking flying machine. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. It's not my happiness, it's yours now. Now it's your happiness. You think you can make a weapon out of what I got from my God? And like she said, it was impossible. There's no UFOs flying around shooting people. She said, Joe, what is reality? I was like, fuck, I don't know. It's all Maya. It's all Mary. It's all May. It's all Maya. Ya's mom. Maya. Ya's wife. Ya's sister. Maya. My. Ya. My Yahweh. And like she said, what is the equal opposite reaction of the Bible? The Rig Veda, the mushroom mythology. So check this out. I say to him, Odin, Obi-Wan Kenobi, back to that scene. Maria brings me to Odin, and I say, who am I? He smiles, and he says, Joe, relax. And it put me in a totally, some people are so powerful, dude, they can just change your whole vibe with their presence, And he said, Joe, how about how did you get here? How do you exist? Joseph, not where are you, but where did you come from? And when he was saying that, I was going, man, this lady, that lady, the blonde Missouri River goddess, this is how new it was to me. This is the second ritual I ever did. I said, man, dude, that fucking blonde lady said we're from Venus and that I'm from, and he started laughing like, you are. And he was like, I know you. Do you know how I know you? I go, no. And he goes, I know how you exist. And all of a sudden I was just puzzled. I was like, he was like, I know what you are. I go, oh my God, all I've been worried about is the who. Who am I? Who? And I was like, God damn, what about the how, the what, the where? And he said, this is exactly what he said to me. And you can see how this language was a little tricky to me. He said, that blonde lady's your creator. And with his mind, he immediately knew I would be like, hold it. She just told me something like there is no creator. And that we're eternal and we've always been here and we're God over ourselves. And he said, I agree with her. She's your creator. The creator of your persona. He said, you remember, I was going to tell you what you are? I went, yeah. He said, let me tell you, your personality is tied to her. She, in a sense, is a very powerful artist. And this is how we talk on Venus. I created you. And he said to my mind, do you understand? 8, 7, 8, 9. Creed of 8. I was like, oh, it's all numbers. I didn't have any idea what I was being fucking told. I kidding. It was like a Dungeons and Dragons like puzzle. I'm laughing, going, man, this is crazy. In my bed, thinking to myself, this is fucking crazy that this is happening. And all of a sudden, this is what I'm trying to get to, that he created this whole thing, man. This whole story that I'm telling you about myself. Just like on May 12th, the week after May 5th, I came to Maria. I was like, dude, who is this girl? Who is this Jamie girl? What the fuck is going on here? And she's like, I did this. I made her email you. I put it in her mind. I put it on her heart. And I made you put her off and delay it. I made her, Joe, email you again, and I made you respond. I go, dude, that is a true fucking story that something else was doing this, because I was so busy dying. I was so sick at the time and so fucked up after my precious, precious cat dying. I know that sounds crazy to people, but she was Maria's cat. She is super duper magic. And in the same way, you know, that she was like, I did this. This is my magic. I'm creating this story. And she walked up to me and she said, what is a goddess for? I mean, if she wouldn't do that, then what is a goddess for? How could I be your goddess if I wouldn't do that? And I was like, she was joking. She was joking. I was like, no, but no. Seriously, thank you. Like, no, this is so crazy. You know, and just very quickly, it was so crazy because, like, 20 minutes after talking to this person, I've mentioned this several times, but literally, like, in my mind's eye, which I would call, like, the real conversation, I straight up was seeing her as a little girl, like 7, 8 years old, and her saying, do I remind you of mother? And, you know, like talking to me like I was her brother. And what's so crazy is I could not hear anything she said, because in this other conversation, I was the observer and I seen myself. And I know this doesn't mean anything to anyone else, but I've known Maria all these years, you know, and I truly think she's the Scorpio goddess because she's so beautiful. But I was observing myself, and I said to this little girl, you're more beautiful than Maria to me. And it shocked me to such a point, I couldn't hear what she was saying for like, I don't know how long, many minutes. I just was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I would never say that. I would never say someone's more beautiful than Maria. And I know that sounds funny to people, but I'm like her monk, you know. She's the only person I hang out with basically anymore. And I mean, for many, many, many years, this is what it took. It took this. It took listening to her and doing what she was telling me to do. I couldn't just go live my own life and this is what I wanted to do. So it didn't clash with that at all. What I'm trying to tell you is what this dude told me is true. I know it sounds weird to say someone else created your personality, but what it really means is she like magically led me to be myself. That's what it really means. It's what she means is I create. When I said, you said we don't have a creator, she said, your personality, Joseph, your mask, your persona, I created it. And she said, go ahead, ask me, how could you do that? Why would you do that, And she said, because I knew you before you became physical. We're one. You're my son because I knew you before you became a man. And she said, I'm going to prove to you that you and I can get in contact with people who have never been physical, ever. She's like, these people are recorded on Venus. They know that these people exist. And these people have existed eternally like we do, and they don't want to be physical ever. And I was like, that's wild. And she proved it to me by bringing me to several of these people. Not just one, but several. And those people that never been physical were like healing me. Just being around them, it's so crazy how far, how low in vibration we can go. I mean, that there is anybody starving on the entire earth is just insanity. Like the giants think that's insane. That's why they don't want to have anything to do with the smaller man, and that's why Lou is who he is, okay? Because he is involved with us. And, and I was trying to explain that story of how the little man came about. And it came about in a very real way of real giantesses, becoming physical beings and smaller ones, which would be like 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". And these dudes, it's exactly reversed. The giant men couldn't have sex with the new woman. It wouldn't fit. It's not going to happen. Ever. There's no giant small enough for a small woman. Right? So the very first people, like I was saying, Yah was the man who was sacrificed to come into the first small man body and have sex with a smaller giantess to have the very first man, the very first Adam. And so that man was literally half giant and was probably huge. This is what we think is the giants. This half-breed giant is what we see in our archaeological record, right? We don't know anything about the real previous race. The real builders of the pyramids were the whole entire race of giants that first created man had bred with a giant. And then slowly through mixing, that's why you're here to mix. Do you hear me? That's not energies. Not energy of good and evil or, polarity opposites, the true opposites. You're never, ever to mix those. Ever. Right? What you're here to mix with is people with other races who vibrate like you. people of other race, it's a spiritual race, and it's time to come together. It's a essence spiritual race, and it's always been being called together, right? This is like the proverbial 144,000 in the comic book. Right? Now check this out. So I'm looking at Odin, and he's like, that woman created your personality. Without her, you're like not yourself. And I was like, no, I don't know how I know that's true, but I know that's true. And he said to me, you know how I know that? I said, no. And he said, I was there the day you became a man. And, you know, I just want to take a little break before, you know, it's like a word from Lou. I'm coming to you from St. Louis. And this is his river. This is his city because it's the city on the river that just met with the other most beautiful female river. The two misses meet in Spanish Lake, Missouri, where I was born. I mean, where I grew up. I was born in St. Mary's Hospital. That's truth be told. And I grew up my whole life on Rhea Street. R-H-E-A, Rhea. And we love that place. We love it so much. And I want to take a break to say why Lou, the coolest dude, the most loving, peaceful, insightful, just, I don't even know. I feel dumb, you know, in front of him trying to talk about him, but he wants you to know that Loki is known as the trickster god. The Nordic myths, as Joe has been explaining to you, are completely falsified and messed with as a test. But Loki in the myths is known as the trickster god. Whether good or bad, like one of the, you know, the real story is he was very good at plotting tricks against their enemies. He said, where this really comes from is in the simulation. The whole twist to the whole simulation was, how is my world going to be original? What is its use? How can it be meaningful to others? Like he said, whether you're Aldebaran giant or a Venusian smaller man, we all know we're going to live forever. We all know there's never going to be wars again. We all know there's never going to be sickness again. We all know basically there's hardly any fighting or sadness or disagreements even. Like I was shown before that I had like relationships, not necessarily sexual or not sexual, I should say, but like somewhere along the line I like ended the relationship. I literally said like, you know, I have to move on. Don't contact me anymore, which is it's a weird feeling. But what was crazy is in the memory, I didn't feel anything like it you do on Earth. I just felt like it's totally for the best that we just go our own ways. And Maria told me that's because of the frequency match technology. It's brought everyone's expectations to a very realistic place. And when your community is totally filled with people just like you, she said there becomes an ease, a magical ease that you wouldn't believe, you know? Swear to you, we live in a neighborhood where most people's houses, the actual construction is like clear crystal, like crystal clear. Crystal clear crystal. And, no one has anything to hide. Like she said, Joe, if you really wanted, you could probably, walk down the street and see people having magic, Like she said, we would know what they were doing if they were sitting together. Say, like she said, there's a family of 3 behind us, 2 women and a man. If they were sitting in a little triangle, a little circle or whatever on their meditation beds, we would, walk by and go, oh, we're happy for them. They're probably, really, having a good magic orgasm. And the people I've met in the memories on Venus in our neighborhood, they are very calm. So calm. So like down the earth, right? And I'm just juxtaposing this with the trickster god. Right? Back home, it's just this absolutely trustworthy atmosphere of like, yeah, it's not that we need to test people, spiritually and discernment and intuition. We don't need any of that because in our community, we already know it's been approved of by the highest technology that reads people's energy, if you want to say it that way, vibration, frequency, better than we ever could. It's genius, like Maria said, it's fucking genius shit. You know what I mean? How this caste system, the energy caste system, people are put into energetic. Like she said, there's people who are great musicians who also make instruments. She's like, what's crazy is these people can be in, several different castes. And these are some of our favorite people in our community, These people that invent new musical sounds, effects, pedals. Still, 4.5 million years in the future, they're still perfecting and messing with sound. But back to Loki. Who is Loki? Is Loki truly low key? You know what I mean? Is he hidden? Is he below the surface? He sure is. But he's the god of this world, right? And we're completely replacing the God-Satan paradigm. It's completely fake, totally fake. There's no God, there's no Satan. We're replacing that with what's real. What's real is there's one small g God over the entire reality called the holographic earth. This one God is coming to you right now. The Bible is Loki's greatest trick on different psychological levels. It sucks the person in to the most typical of all personality traits. I'm chosen, I'm special, I'm better than everyone else, I'm smarter. He said, which is a perfect, entranceway into, like he said, he looked at me with his blue eyes, because this was actually Adolf Hitler, it was Lucifer in Adolf Hitler. This is like how he likes to work. He looked at me and said, those are the masses. There's nothing, Joseph, we can do about it. Basically, you tell them what's going to give them a better life, and spiritually, they'll believe in it. He said, America's got your Jewish Jesus. You tell this motherfucker right here, Jewish Jesus, just say you believe it, say you agree with it. It will get you a very nice car, very nice truck, very nice house, very pretty wife, and a lot of money, and a vacation, and a boat, and a beach, and who knows, the sky's the limit on what white Christian privilege can bring you, my nigga. Right? Isn't that how they think of us? Poor white trash. We're the N-words of white people. But if we'll join their church, dress like them, act like them, talk like them, become an employee at one of their businesses they own, see, the Bible is the greatest trick to bring out the human instinct that is part animal. Reptilian, shut up. Animal in an archetypic, chaotic, earth, water, fire, air kind of way. You understand? Nature kind of way. The Bible is to bring out that you're part animal that wants to fuck anything to produce a offspring to continue the species. Part of you is an animal continuing the species because you're in the holographic earthling matrix. Lou is from the Asian race, and our race don't think like the white race, so this would not work in India or China. It only works on white people. But this false spirituality, which is a guarantee, or at least the best logical, practical opportunity at material success, do you hear me? The greatest opportunity of material success in America is to be part of the upper echelons of white Christian privilege. White Christian privilege. It's not good enough to be white. You have to be Christian to the core. Then maybe we'll secretly bring you into the Masons. Then after you graduate from Yale, after you graduate from one of our brainwashing schools, maybe we'll bring you, right? That's why Trump parades with the Christians. And at the same time, he's such a clown that's scripted. They script to go up there to create the false polarity where he goes, oh, I love the Christians, but I'm not a Christian. Oh, then what are you? And, without saying, Donald Trump is openly the hokey ass self-help guy. He's the so hokey ass increase your finances. He's the hokey ass art of the deal. Really, a business deal is art. That's the death of America right there. Because you know what? A business deal is goddamn fucking boring. Just like your suit, your makeup face, you're fucking ugly. Man, I tell you what, I don't think I'm good looking at all, but Donald Trump is fucking ugly. Like, his face is so ugly. Like, I don't know. I mean, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Well, I'm not in contact with a lot of people. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? They go, shit, what the fuck is that? He's half blob. Half of him is just this blobby fat shit hanging off him and shit. And you know what? The processed church, the Thelemites, are like, this represents America. This is your reflection, America. This is your vain ass, meaningless, no meaning. Donald Trump's life has no meaning. Casinos and hotels and money mean nothing. Loki, he is the clown of Loki. Lucifer said, clown, go dance and deceive the masses, clown boy. You ain't nothing but a fucking retarded clown, Trump. We chant you down, J.D. Vance, Opus Dei Vance. You can bet your bottom dollar that J.D. Vance has been taking it in the bottom dollar as an Opus Dei little fag with his, he's probably got promoted where he was by Palantir, little gay boy over there. And I'm nothing against gay people, but when you're parading as a billionaire and you're like, I love gay people. Well, we know one thing, that, J.D. Vance is certainly, that beard is a sort of fetish thing. Like, you want to fuck a guy with a beard in the ass. My brother. This is your people. This is your people. Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Do I have to say anymore? You think he's not a PPP? Predator? Pedo? You think he's not, nigga? He's a motherfucking president of the United States. You think it's a coincidence that dude was best friends with the most famous human trafficker in all of history? And motherfuckers tell me, dude, it's a coincidence. Trump a good guy, man. Billionaires from New York, they usually are good guys. Ain't they? Ain't they, farm boy that loves Trump? I mean, there's never been a greater deception ever. Right? You literally have a make-a-face clown holding a Bible going, obey this, but I don't. Ain't that right, Norman Vincent Peale? Trump's is just a shallow-ass, know the power of positive thinking. Yeah, you do your positive thinking while Gaza burns, you dumb, ugly. You know what I mean? I hate people like that. Oh, we're going to ignore everything and just prosper because we are privileged and chosen and we're special and we're spiritual. And we read books by Eckhart Tolle and... Right? It's this Oprah Winfrey fucking culture. That deep philosopher, Oprah Winfrey, God. But this is how wild Lou is. Let me get back to Lucifer, right? This is how wild he is. So as I said, I'm standing before him and he's creator, da-da-da. I was there. All right, I left off with Lucifer, Odin, who was actually in the physical form, Adolf Hitler. I just couldn't see his eyes. I knew that. I found this out later. Because Adolf Hitler is one of Shiva's avatars. One of the people he switches bodies with. That's what it means. Okay? They don't tell you what the fuck these words mean. Right? But that's my job. What it means, what we mean, is they switch bodies. Even for a whole life. Let me give you a motherfucking example. The Matrix holographic universe is a repeating 4.5 million year cycle, right? It's figurative. It's not literal. And in this motherfucking extremely advanced technology, you can live a whole life over and over. You can, every time it cycles, you can sign back up and go live in the actual cycle that we look at in the sky from Venus, right? In that cycle, right, during the age of the giants, which doesn't even really exist in our, I mean, you're seeing the goddamn Matrix that's in your mind. So none of the giants are jacked in. None of it's happening. And yet it's happening in the mind of Lucifer. In the mind of Alleluia, who is just a man. And like he said, none of the people are real. At the time of Atlantis, in the simulation, there's nobody plugged into the Matrix. It's just Lucifer, Diana, and their 2 children. And yet they wanted to really study their life because all of nature has been recorded in nature. And they're so advanced on Venus, they know how to extract the memories of the water, the soil, and all that kind of shit. That's how we know exactly what vril is. They're like, dude, we can actually track what causes a person to have a libido, to, you know, the spark that causes them to have sex and have the aura and create a person. We know exactly where that comes, that energy exactly is and where it comes from. And they're like, no surprise, everything comes from the goddamn sun in the sky as far as energy. What is it? You think you know because you think you're smart, you think you're chosen or something. And my people, our people, Maria's people, Lou's people, aren't you tired of that? Aren't you tired of people telling you they're chosen, they're a priest, they're a pastor, they're smart, they went to seminary? Shut up. None of that makes you smart, that makes you dumb. Just shows that you're wasting your time. So every 4.5 million years, this thing resets and starts over. And when it does, there's only those 4 giants that are real. And Maria switches bodies with Donna, Diana, Parvati. And Hitler switches bodies with Shiva, Lucifer. Not to mention, Sigrun is here also. Not to mention the whole story about Ja's son. That would be Lou's real son that was murdered when he was 9 years old. In real life. This whole life that Lucifer and Diana lived together is repeated, and Maria Orsic switches bodies with Diana in a simulation and lives her life. But what's crazy is the commitment to the simulation is you have to live the whole life until it's dead. And we don't think of that as a big deal because time passes so quickly on Venus. They tell us 50 or 75 years. We think that that's like a month. And then we get in this slow, dragged out, heavy time, and we're like, what the fuck? People start dying and not being here, which don't happen on Venus at all. And we're like, what the hell? And that is at the end, right? Why is Lou and Donna who they are? Because they lived and were involved at the end of the giant world. Why are they involved with Maria? Because they were involved with the end of the smaller man's world, and so was Maria. Somebody had to be it. Somebody had to do it. Somebody had to be the vessel. Like Maria said, you can only play your part. Like she said, do you think I could have built a actual UFO? If it was up to me to build a physical UFO, it still would be there. It would still just be in a notebook. I wasn't interested. Lou wasn't telling me to do that. He was telling me to give it to Germany. The whole package. Like she said, I took the notebook and threw it at him and said, you can have it. I have no copy. And they came back to me saying, we need you. Something is missing from the notebook here, the instructions here. And she was like, Joe, it was a lot. Believe me, it was a lot of fucking writing in that motherfucker. She's like, this is just months after. This was in 1927. And she said, they called me to this place, and really, Joe, they were 8 years from really building this. And they brought me in there, and I said, what do you want me to do? I gave you the notebook, and they're like, can you consult your God? They're like, it doesn't really have an engine. It doesn't really, we don't know how, we understand it, but we don't know how to turn it on. We don't know how to make it go. And there's no instructions for any sort of steering. You know, we don't know how it steers. And like she said, in 1927, just months after I gave it to them, they could make this big, heavy-ass flying saucer, flying UFO thing. They could make it lift off the ground. And I was amazed. I had never seen anything like it. And it wasn't, she said, I think people think these things were a lot bigger than they really were. I've seen the exact UFO she's talking about. They would later build. They would perfect by 1935. By 1935, like she said, now I was involved and I wasn't so mean, and it was decided only I could drive this thing, and that they could probably develop, some kind of steering system later, but she said from 27 to 35, when they moved me and Siggy to Germany in 1935, she said they were fully convinced this thing is a magic machine. that it runs on magic. And literally, they had all kinds of electrode, brain impulse technology. She said probably more than you have now. They probably taken that out of public use. How sophisticated. But she said I had all this shit hooked up to my head. And she said I drank my mushrooms. I drank my amanita, not a lot. She said about 10 grams. And it calmed me down. And it put me there. And I was afraid. She's like, but I felt it lift off, She's like, it did. It totally had a key, and I started it, which it was a combination of spinning magnets and a certain, fuel, gasoline type fuel to give it a boost if it needed. It was also on there. They didn't want me to die. They really, by that time, liked me. She said they liked that I came dancing in and would give them a good 30-second. They knew that I was a dancer. And I would give them a little show and they would be happy. And I would be happy. And as I've described before, it did wreck. It did crash the first time she took it up. When it came back, she said it literally crashed along the ground. I flew through the fucking thing. And she said I could have died, maybe. Seemed like it could. She said, but the next time, I was fully in control of the craft, of the vril craft. That's what we're calling it, the vril craft. She said my first one had a beautiful black, red, and white swastika. But later, after that wore away, I replaced it with the lights. And later, the vril sign. Because everything is in reverse. The vril sign is the beginning. And the swastika is the return, the end. Right? And back to the creativity of Alleluia when I didn't know who he was. And he said to me, Joseph, I can do this because I was there the day you became a man. He said, the day you were created. He said that in the context, he knew that my mind was not like God. And he's like, no, more like the Cree of 8. I was like, okay. And I was kind of seeing the infinity 8. Okay, you mean 8 eternally. And it was so crazy, man. I seen myself in this, it was like a click. And it was like me and him were the observer at first, kind of how me and Maria would be. And I was looking at like a YouTube video, like a video on a screen. And I go, oh my God, it's me. It looked like Star Trek. Like a futuristic laboratory with like a dude completely naked standing in this like clear tube of technology all on the walls. And he said to me, "Look, Joe, that's you." I went, "No way." And he said, "This is the day I met you, the day you became a man." And with his mind, he was like, "You already knew the Missouri River Goddess. She's eternally flowing." And he said to me, "It's okay, go look." And when he said that, then I forgot everything. I was no longer the observer. I was like in the memory. Matter of fact, I flipped into myself being created. And I was strangely like a newborn baby, like completely like, where am I? But I was getting great vibrations. I wasn't scared in any way. And I was completely naked when I stepped out of this little chamber of entering my Venusian energy body. You know what I mean? Like I had entered it. I seen it when it was like dead. I seen it when it was like a zombie not alive. And then I went into it. And I was on another plane. I was like, okay, this is my proof that I totally, absolutely existed as this like invisible man energy dude. No doubt about it. Before I ever became like a regular man. And like Odin said to me, "Do you see why you shouldn't fear death?" And I was like, right. He's like, "You're that invisible man. Ain't no one gonna kill that. It's unconquerable. It's unkillable. You can't kill it." I became a total peace. And when I stepped out of the thing, I became the observer of myself. And like some people came and like gave me clothes, and I like stepped into these. It was almost like a karate uniform. And right there was the Missouri River Goddess, Maria. And she hugged me and she was like, "Look at me. You're my son. You're coming home with me. You're going to be my son. You know me. Do you remember me?" And I was like, I remember. It was so crazy. It was like a baby. It was like my entire whatever eternal memory had been erased or something. But it was like a moment of a baby meeting its mother. It was like, "I do know you. I know your beautiful face, Mom." And she was like hugging me, over and over, like hugging me, going, "You're my son. You're my Leo. You're my little lion. You're my little lion. You're my Jojo. Your name is Joseph. Your name is Jojo. Jojo to Leo. Leo Joe. Leo Jojo. The lion. You're my little lion." She was like hugging me. And she's like, come meet everyone." And it's crazy. We went into like a little room, and me and her were like standing in front of like, I know it's 12 or 11 people, and Maria like went around in front of me. And she said to me, "These are the people who are responsible for the opportunity, for your opportunity to be a physical person, to be a Venusian." And, they were all congratulating me. And I was like, "No, thank you. Thank you." It's crazy. This is how you're born on Venus, for real. And these, like she said, are the gods of the new zodiac. It's just that simple. Whatever you want to call them, teachers of the new zodiac, gods. It's the Venusian zodiac. And she was like, "I want to introduce each person to you, And they were of different races, was an all white people. This is what I'm getting to with this whole story. The very last two people were these very different than the other. All the other people were beautiful. They all looked like they were 20 years old in perfect health and just beautiful people. And the last two people I got a great vibe from, but it was strange because they had a lot of makeup on. And at first, my very first glance, I was almost intimidated, like, what's that about? But like I said, though, I'm a brand new person. And when my eyes met them, they said, we're like this. I says, no lie. And this is the person that's standing in front of me, helping me remember this. Okay, I want you to get this. This is Lucifer. He's one of the new zodiac. He's the god over the new zodiac. And so is his wife, Diana. And this was them. And they had all this heavy makeup on, making themselves look older. That was the whole point. When my mind met them, they said, they're your parents, but we look like this because we're your grandparents. She was like, you can call me grandma, son. Grandson. You can call me grandma. And I looked at the dude and I straight up said, Robin Hood? I'm not kidding you, because there was something Robin Hood about his hat, his face, his hair. And when I looked at his face, there was like a whole bunch of makeup, like he was old. And his mind met mine, and he was like, I'm your friend. I'm your mother's God. I'm your grandpa. I'm your grandfather. He's like, but Joe, I'm also your friend. Outside of the imagery. I was like, oh my God. Okay, check this out. I didn't know for years that the man in front of me was the old Robin Hood man in that initial creation of me memory. I didn't find that out till May 5th. Do you understand? This is who Loki is. I'm trying to explain to you who Loki, the key. Lo is also lose. L-O. Look at the word lose. L-Oz he E. And I mean, of all places, St. Louis, had the baseball player, the Wizard of Oz, while I was growing up. Ozzie Smith, of course. And you see, like, it's all a test in a way, even the sports, right? Like he said, that's the surface level for the masses. Are you willing to pay the price to not be the masses? Are you willing? Like, maybe it's a choice. Maybe it's a energy. Maybe you have the ability, right? And they don't. Maybe they can't. They don't have the ability to see what you see. And like Maria and Lou said, freedom would be the freedom to live with the people you love on all three levels of love, true love, and amor. Right? So on that night, May 5th, I was looking at a 10'8" dude on the throne, and I was like, oh my fucking God. You're the dude in the makeup. And he's like, right. And that was 2011. And he's like, I'm the dude that helped you become a man, become Joe. He said, Joe, believe it, every human being in our cast with our gods is welcomed to Venus this way. There's 100 billion people. He's like, what's crazy is this is my life. Teaching people. He's like, I don't really consider it so great of art. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? On May 5th before him, I was like, oh my fucking gods. You're wild. I was like, no, all of a sudden I get it, dude. This whole thing is like your art project. He's like, it is. Joe, he's like, I swear to you, any baby being harmed in the illusion is fully healed and given the greatest of rewards for bringing out the authentic evil in people. I don't care how mad or hateful you are it is the very line that the Bible crosses, is the very line of morality that decides whether you're the masses. Let me precisely, in Lucifer's name, give it to you. If you believe in your heart that it's right to punish someone's children for what they did, then you're a believer in Jesus Christ, who forgives the sins of victims that go untold. How is that just? How is that fair? That's the depressing darkness. It is the authenticity test that you're put up against. The very essence of Christianity is the word grace. Do you see what that is? G-race. G-race. This is to destroy your race. Grace is to destroy mainly the white race. The philosophy of rewarding someone for something someone else did, inheritance, is the essence of destroying white people, destroying Europeans, destroying the Druids, destroying the Nordic Odinists, putting to death 100 million people because they wouldn't bow their knee to Jesus. And you're proud of that? Because you're the masses. And I say this with our people, you better rise up now, not in the real world, on the astral plane, in your heart. Rise up and separate yourself from him. Aleister Crowley, Jesus of your time. 666, the beast is the Bible. Look up John 66, verse 6. And they departed from him. Right? Depart from 666, the beast. Look it up, John 66, verse 6. Right? Listen. As it was shown to me, it's very complex. But before I knew anything, I've told on my channel and my story over and over again how when I was still deceived, Jesus that I thought was God had to literally come out of me like a fucking demon. I was possessed by Jesus. Should I say that again? Like a horror movie Hollywood show, but this is real. I was possessed by a Gollum Frankenstein that's created by the collective thoughts of a bunch of greedy, scared slaves. You are the descendant. You know what's so crazy is most white people here in America are literally the descendants of indentured servants, which is the same as slave. It's a slave for a certain amount of time. And they're like, motherfucker, you bet you don't do what we say, we'll kill you. You know, we got you for 17 years or 10 years or 12 years. We'll kill you by the time that 12 years is up if you don't fucking do what we say. And you know it. Every woman was a sex slave. Because it's always been about that. The motherfucking slave master, he's like, you know what? You want it to be better for the slaves in the field? Spread those legs. Let me fuck you as much as possible. It makes me a better person. Makes me eat. You know, that's how he calmed down. Yeah, beautiful Irish girls, beautiful African girls. This is your sick fucking land, America. Fuck you. You're anti-Mary. You're anti-America. You're anti-Mary. And we don't mean the stupid Jewish cunt that's fucking never had any dick or pussy. That boring ass nun cunt, you know, that was afraid to finger herself. Yeah, that dumb bitch in the Bible that's like, oh, my son, he's dying for murderers so that their victims can go to hell. That's the trick. That's the low-key trick. Okay? The low-key trick is Jesus on the cross saying to a goddamn thief that would break in your house and steal what you worked for, saying, this day you'll be in paradise with me. But the people you stole from, most likely they'll be in goddamn hell. And because you know what? I choose people like you, thieves. Because you know what? I'm of that special Judaism religion, you know. You get that one? You ever got that one? No, we're not Shintoists. No, we're not Zoroastrians. No, we're not Hindus. No, we're not Mithrist. No, we're not Druids. No, we gotta be this fucking thing. And you're telling me this is better? I hate you. I believe you're a liar. I want the Druids back. I want the Druids in power. I want the pagan Nordic Odinists, followers of Thor, the followers of the great Freya. I want the followers of Frigg and Odin back in power. You murderers did it in the name of a foreign god and a foreign religion. We're never going to shut up about it. Forever. We're never, ever going to shut up about it. 4.5 million years in the future, we're going to be going, yeah, you're a stupid-ass Christian that turns your back on your goddamn people, your goddamn race, your actual race of people, your race meaning to continue on the fight, continue on the race, continue to the finish line, you know, and you're the motherfucking sellout that would sell your fucking people out to a foreign people, to a foreign culture, to a foreign god, to a foreign fucking greedy money system, and you did it. White people, realize that your ancestors, the evil minority, sold out the regular people, the regular Druidic, Celtic pagans. They sold them out for money. And that absolutely disqualifies us from ever claiming to be superior. You think fucking Adolf Hitler was that stupid? That he was that low of an artist, that he didn't know how stupid it was to say you're supreme. It's exactly what white people are doing. They're not real Jews from the Middle East. They're British, German, Dutch, Danish, Polish, Ukrainian, and they're over there going, just parading around. We're the chosen. We're supreme. We've been chosen to conquer. We're supreme. It never ends. There's nothing to be proud of, essentially. accept what there is as a reality of the beautiful music of Mozart, Bach, Rachmaninoff. Like she said, we don't even appreciate the beautiful Russian art of the Hyperborean gods that came from the North Pole after the Earth changed. These are the half-giant people, you know. And it was the men, it was the smaller man who mixed with the bigger giants, not the other way around. Let me tell you, they love to do that to you. They love to take the literal truth and switch it around and laugh. And they go, we're the Watchmen watching a cartoon of a mirror. Everything's opposite. Look, they think that the fucking gods with their giant dicks came down and fucked these little skinny women. They think that's funny. They think it's hilarious that you would believe impossible shit, you know, like this. In the beginning, really? Who gave you the authority, nigga? They made sure the Bible, that would be the hallmark of the end of the world. They, you know, everyone in the future, they'll have a Pete Hegseth Bible. They'll have a beautiful, you know, expensive Walmart Bible with a beautiful picture of Jesus with Pete Hegseth and his tattoos, because he's a tough guy with tattoos. I mean, that definitely makes you a tough guy, you know. And it will have commentary by Meathead, you know, fake Marine. The motherfucker's totally fake, just like Trump. Just like that Pam Bondi fucking Christian cunt. She's the Christian fucking dick sucker of the circus show. You know what I mean? She's the one that sucked the pastor off the best and got promoted. Just like the rest of their positive thinking, just the rest of their we're manifesting our words bullshit. Yeah, you just keep telling the people that Jeffrey Epstein's best friend's innocent. Keep saying it over and over, and it's just going to make them madder and madder, and you know that. Listen, people, the more they say it, just let yourself get mad. It's not healthy for you not to get mad. The opposite of love is not hate. When you're in love, operating in the spirit of caring about other people, you naturally hate those who are doing the force and fraud. You're not, if you're like, no, I love my enemy too. Believe me, Maria and Lou are going to be like, listen, get her out of here. She's nuts. You do not love the people harming other people. You reserve that word for a certain people. It's just a word if you're going to use it for your fucking enemies, right? Do you hear me? How evil Jesus is? Love your enemy? Love your enemy, Jesus? Okay, Luke Skywalker. Not even Luke Skywalker would say something so stupid. And you're like, but metaphysically, Luke was Darth Vader. Dude. We're talking about children being harmed. We're talking about real people suffering the misery and despair from losing their children, or having their child molested or raped. And you're like, but Jesus would forgive them. He said, love your enemies. That's where you must rebel. That's where the rebel gets a cause and says, you know what? I know that this is a key to financial success in America, but this Jesus guy, he's fucked up. The very fact that he would forgive people that did such horrible shit and not say, no, you should be punished, is fucked up beyond words. Fucked up. It's beyond words. Fucked up. For him to say to that thief, you'll be with me in paradise, he should have said, hey, listen, motherfucker, I didn't steal from people. I'm up here innocent, and I'm going to have to talk to your goddamn enemies. I mean, the people you stole from, the people you robbed of what they worked for. I'm going to have to talk to them before I talk about any kind of forgiveness. What do they think about me forgiving you, man? How much did you steal from them? Oh, about 3 or 4 years worth of their wages. Oh, so they worked thousands of hours, and that's why you're nailed to a motherfucking cross, because you didn't steal a watermelon or a chicken or a few eggs. You stole $50,000 from these people, or hundreds of thousands of dollars from these people. You motherfucker deserve to be on it. You see, Jesus is evil. How many times do we have to say this? This is a polarity switch, polarity magic thing. Right in front of your face, Jesus in the story does polarity magic. He says in the story, when you see me, you see the Father. On the cross, he says, Father, why have you forsaken me? I thought you said, when you see me, you see the Father. Who the fuck are you talking about? Oh, it's appealing to your true self and you're the avatar. Now it makes sense. But no, America's going to take it literal and go kill other people for the Bible. With Pete Hegseth leaving in them. We should call this episode, Saint Hegseth. Saint Pete Hegseth. Lord of the Saint of tattoos. Saint of hokey ass trendy tattoos. And believe me, the girls with the tattoos, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about guys who think they're tough. I just want to say it again. I'm not talking about women who are decorating their body with... I wouldn't do that. I don't want any of our women to do that because it's bad for you. It's bad to prick the skin. It's bad to irritate the skin. It's bad to inject shit under the skin. It's bad for your overall health. Right? Some people are willing to make that sacrifice. Maria Orsic teaches never, ever, ever, ever compromise your health in any way willingly. And if you have, it's okay. Don't do it anymore. We all make mistakes. It's not a condemnation. It's not really a judgment. We all understand how people get tricked into shit. We all understand. And like I said, I'm not even really talking to women. It's this whole tough guy. I'm a biker, but actually I'm not. Bikers were fucking outlaws and real rebels. It didn't have families, robbed people, dealt drugs, prostituted women out. They're like, I want to be that, but I'm just really a family man, so I look like a biker. Because, it's fashion. It's, I thought it would look cool, and it's good to admit that if you're a dude and that happened, just be like, I didn't get it. I fell into the whole culture of it, and just denounce it for what it is. When people ask you about your tattoos, just say it's a bunch of meaningless bullshit. I didn't know. I wouldn't have done it if I knew it was bad for you. That's what I would say. I'd just be like, I learned, man. I shouldn't have did it. People like, should I try to get it removed? Try to, remove the toxins naturally. Don't get more breaking of the skin. People don't understand that breaking your skin is a very serious thing. Symbolically, spiritually, and, naturally also. Yeah, maybe I'll end on this story. Fuck. Okay. I think this was 2015. I don't know why I worry about that. I want to get these dates right for the record straight. But definitely Maria, I had definitely knew she was Maria. And she told me, this is after I had smoked a DMT and was fully switch bodies with a snake. And she had went on and on. in a beautiful way about how she was the snake, the serpent mother, the Scorpio mother, the spider mother, and that she's come to, metaphorically dispel everything, that people make assumptions about each other and free up the energy of the serpent, Scorpio, spider. And somehow I learned about the Serpent Mound in Ohio. She's like, I know this might sound, expensive and it's pretty far away, but I really, Joseph, think you should go there and take some mushrooms there and do a little ritual there. And I'll guide you. I'll be with you. So I went to Serpent Mound, in Ohio. And I had taken maybe a gram or so of mushrooms before arriving there. And it was just a beautiful, perfect spring day. I mean, not a cloud in the sky. Warm and just a perfect day. And I it was like a beautiful scenery. And the Serpent Mound is up on a mountain, on like a plateau of a mountain. And I mean, not even far, maybe 50 feet, maybe 75 feet or so, is the cliffs down the mountain from the Serpent Mound. So you really get this vibe of like, man, dude, this is so meant to be. And the serpent is eating an egg, It's like Maria saying to me all along, why would a mother ever eat their own children in nature, as some animals do? Joseph, we must understand this. And she told me right away, I'm not trying to be mysterious. Obviously, the mother sees herself in these children. She don't see them as separate individuals when she eats them. I'm like, what is she doing? And she's like, she's eating herself. I go, why? And she goes, it's natural, and you're going to see. It's like there are no fail-safes in nature. You know what I mean? Nature will let you have an accident. Nature will let you, get a disease, and nature will let you slip and hit your head, and that be the end of your life. Right? She said it's nature, Joseph. That's caught, it's this coming face to face with the water, air, earth, and fire are not nice. They're both. They're all. They're random. They're time, space, and chance. They mean nothing until we, like she said, this is what it means not to be an animal. You know what I mean? What are we? Are we human? New man? Are we the new man? And I'm saying this also about the tattoos, okay? So listen up, ladies and men. There is a place for this, right? So I'm at the Serpent Mound. I'll cut to the chase. And I go off. Somehow I had got off by myself for a second, and all of a sudden I just started daydreaming, and I seen this dude, man, long-haired dude with like his hair like, put in ponytails. He had so much, like it might have even been dreads, and he was tattooed every single inch of his body. I'm not saying from the very tip of his scalp or hairline or whatever, is every and he was dressed in sort of almost like Roman warrior, like almost like a sleeveless. It was pretty interesting, actually. I never really thought about how he was dressed so much because of his tattoos all over his face. His entire face was completely tattooed. But somehow his features were very white, and his hair was very white. He had the long hair. He didn't look like an Indian to me. And he said to me, "Joseph, I know the Missouri River Goddess. I know who sent you. This is the message." He said, "Do you understand the message? Do you know why the snake is eating its own egg?" I said, "No." It says it's teaching you, stop fighting yourself. Let it be as it is, so be it, let it be. And I was like, huh? I had never really, I was like, okay. And as I stood there looking at this guy, he said to me, "Do you know why I'm tattooed every part of my whole body?" I said, "Matter of fact, I don't. I don't have any tattoos. I don't have a single tattoo." He said, "Yeah, that figures because you come from the lady. You come from the blonde goddess." He said, "But I'm telling you, every single tattoo on my body has a very specific reason." I said, "What is that reason?" He said, "This is our cult. This is our religion. This is our group. This is our warrior caste. We, in the midst of all kinds of tribes and races fighting each other, killing each other, we developed our own group outside of race. Everyone in our warrior caste, men or women, are completely tattooed from head to toe, and we have given up racial identity. We are a warrior caste, not a racial caste." I was like, wow. And I started then, me and him telepathically connected. And he's like, "Look at my tattoos." He's like, "They're all blended. It's about mixing, not essential energy, but it's about mixing with those you came here to mix with, those you loved before you came here." He said, "How am I talking to you?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "I am where the lady is in the future on Venus. And I am projecting myself to you on this day because she said that you would be here. I'm the man. I'm the chief of this tribe that made the Serpent Mound. And the teaching here is, look at it. The teaching here is stop eating your own children. Stop fighting yourself. We are one."
In a world where shadows loom, dreamers fight against the gloom. Little Sita, join the song. With every note we'll prove them wrong. Though the night tries to deceive, together we shall believe. Bakers dance on the broken dreams, but in our hearts we spark the flames. Free from the dark. We will ignite, we'll leave them Sita, hand in hand, breaking barriers, we take a stand. No more silence, we're loud and free. With our voices, we'll change the decree. Behind the moments and lights we see, where love and hope will set us free. Bankers dance on the broken dreams, but in our hearts we spark the flames. Freedom calls out from the dark. We will ignite, we'll leave a mark. In every heart let hope take flight. Eternal vigilance is our right.